Hello and welcome back to Misrepresented. I'm your host, Lisa Opie, and today we have Kaysha Florvil, who is your Miss Miami Beach.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. It's crazy how things just like work out the way they're supposed to.
I literally was not expecting to do this today, but I'm so glad that we're here.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you're like the perfect person for
Aww.
Misrepresented. I got to know you a little bit in glam, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Like, do you have time for a podcast?
Yeah.
And you didn't, but you made time.
But we made time, exactly. Make time for what's important.
Exactly. I love that so much. So since this is like so last minute, we used our favorite bestie, ChatGPT.
Kaysha.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she made all of our talking points. So this will be really fun. I know you said there were some weird ones, and I haven't really seen the talking points yet.
Yeah, we're like, let's just go with it. Like, let it be fun.
Yeah, for 30 minutes.
Yes.
But before we get into the talking points, we want to know more about you. So share with me your whole like life story.
Oh my gosh, the whole thing.
Yeah,
in less than 30 minutes. Yeah, well, I want to share some of the parts we didn't even talk about, like while we were doing our makeup. So I feel like all of this started when I was 7. So I started my first like mentorship group when I was 7 years old in a daycare.
Really? Okay,
yeah,
tell me more. That's
my
amazing.
mom worked at a daycare at the time because she like didn't trust anyone like with her kids, and we just really bonded. And I told my mom I wanted to like start mentoring my friends and like start like a Bible study at daycare. So I made her in charge of like facilitating bringing the materials, and my dad was in charge of like financing it. So like on Fridays, because back then there was no like iPads and stuff, so I needed like a little CD player to play movies. So like Friday nights were movie nights, and like that's really where my like leadership journey started. But of course I was only 7, so that was my first business thing that failed. My sister took over and she was like, Kaysha's group is not cool, like we're gonna go make another group. So like I failed and my business fell apart, even though it was really a nonprofit. But it was
amazing, though, at 7 years old.
Yeah, it was so fun. And I remember thinking like, I can't believe that got stripped away from me. Like I felt so alive doing it, even though I was very shy in school. Like people would have never guessed that. And I just knew I always wanted to do that with the rest of my life. Fast forwarding to COVID was the next time I started something like that. That was my senior year of high school, and I was home and I had nothing else better to do really. So I started a blog, and then I started a Zoom support group online. So we had girls from all over the country and even in other countries in Dominican Republic, and just so many different girls coming together every single week on Saturdays. And that was for about a year. So I felt really good just learning and like developing my leadership skills online. But then everyone stopped using Zoom. It wasn't as cool anymore. So then that fell apart, and I was like, not again.
Oh my gosh.
A few years later, I went to college and I met one of my best friends. We went to a concert together, and there was a girl at the college at the concert who was like, I know this is crazy, but like, I think that you should compete for Miss America. And I'm like, I would never do that. Like, what? Gosh. Like, I could not see myself doing that. Like, what am I even supposed to say? And then fast forward, I ended up doing it. So my first time ever competing, I placed 3rd runner up, and I was like, that was fun. I'm not going to do it again, but that was a good time. And someone was like, no, you need to do that again. Actually one of the dress sponsors. So I said, okay. I took a month to just learn what Miss America was, since I'd never watched it or listened to it growing up. And then I competed again and I won. And that's where my Miss Florida journey started. So in the next 2 months, I will be competing for the job of Miss Florida, which is the preliminary for Miss America. And to think that it all started just completely out of nowhere and humbly, just kind of like this, and just so spontaneous. It's just crazy to think about. And I always look back on that and I'm just like, me 3 years ago would be so proud of where I'm at now.
That's crazy. That happened so fast. You know what I realized about you? I've only known you for like a day.
Yeah.
But like things come to you when you're not looking for them.
At all.
Oh my God.
We forgot to talk about how I even became Miss Miami Beach, which is a story in
story time.
So story time. So it was Miss Miami Beach Day. I'm driving down to the competition, and I was about 10 minutes away. So the competition, just like jamming out to my music. Like I can't wait to compete. And then boom, I get in a 4-car collision right before the accident. And of course, I'm not thinking about like, oh my gosh, is my car okay? Like, am I injured?
Okay?
Is the other, like, is everyone okay? I'm just like, I have a pageant to compete for.
What did the cop say?
The cop was like, shout out to the cop if he's watching this. He was like, oh my gosh, like, don't be shaking for your pageant. And I was like, I was like, is it okay if I leave? Because like I need to go compete. So I just like put my bumper in the trunk.
Your bumper in the trunk?
Yes. I was like, we're getting out of here. Obviously it took longer than that. Like this is the Sparks Notes version. It took like an hour and a half for them to like come and do all the paperwork and stuff and all that. And he was like, oh my gosh, where are you from? I'm like shaking and crying.
Not right now.
Not right now. Literally. So then I went over there. I was obviously like 2 hours late for the interview. So I was the very last person to do the interview. And the judges are like, oh my gosh, like, are you okay? And I could just tell in that moment, like, I think that's when I realized like how tenacious I am and like how much of an overcomer I really am. Because in that moment, I literally did not think about anything else. I did not think about the injuries, no matter how many times people are like, are you okay? Like, you might really feel it tomorrow. I was like, nope, next play.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I ended up getting crowned that night. And of course, the next couple of days were rough, but I really learned from that like this is just an amazing story in the making, which I don't know why God chose me to have one of those hard stories. I'm on his strongest soldiers list this year, but I'm just like so grateful that I get to be, alive and just living my best life now, and preparing for the title of Miss Florida.
Truly living your best life.
Literally.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So you just competed, like no injuries. Were you okay later?
So I did get lost backstage a couple times, and every single girl at the Miss Miami competition, shout out to you, was a girl's girl. One girl was giving me painkillers. Another girl was like helping me when I would get lost because I had brain fog. Like I had lost my suitcase in the road. Like it was like a couple of different things. Or like when I was trying to tie my shoes after fitness, like I was like getting lost and people were helping me up. So I really like don't even know how I made it through the interview. I had a ton of brain fog, but I think like I got my points across.
I think they were just like 10 because
and
she's
also,
committed.
I won best talent and I won best like social media ambassador. So I wasn't even expecting like anything. Like I had no expectations because like I'm just gonna see what happens. And to walk away with 3 awards was like just absolutely insane.
The whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's amazing. So now I want to see what ChatGPT has for us. What do you call your ChatGPT? We always have a name.
ChatGPT Kaysha.
ChatGPT Kaysha.
Yes. Like she's my best friend.
We love it. Okay, so she says here are 5 impactful talking points you can use to tell your story. So number 1, from overcomer to title holder, your journey to Miss Miami Beach. Well, we talked about that.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Okay, I'm as smart as ChatGPT.
You are.
Oh
you went off script too.
Is there anything else you wanted to share about that talking point?
I really think something that comes up for me just right now in this moment is a quote that someone shared with me so long ago, and it kept me going through every competition, is don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10, because
oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, and like that's so true, because someone might look at me and be like, wow, like she gets to compete for Miss Florida and all of these things, not realizing just the obstacles that I've had to overcome to get there. And then it's the same thing, going up from there. I can look at somebody else who is also an entrepreneur who is maybe making more sales than me, but realizing that they had to overcome so much to get to that point, and just trusting and being present in those moments, because this part of the story is truly the best part. Like being able to have a testimony and share that testimony is really what connects me with different audiences that I get to share with. And I'm also a public speaker, and the fact that I have that relatability to people I've never met is something that you can't buy, and I would never trade for anything in the world.
That was amazing. And I feel like I really needed to hear that, especially with social media now. You see everybody like getting everything that you want.
Yeah.
You're like, why don't
I've been
have
working
that?
hard towards that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I need to keep that in mind. I needed
to
hear that.
We're going to just replay this every time we need that in the morning.
It's definitely going to be like a social media clip. Like it'll be on our Instagram
for
sure.
I'm so excited.
Okay, talking point number 2. A childhood rooted in purpose. Talk about your upbringing and how growing up shaped your heart for service, leadership, and advocacy.
So we talked a little bit about that when I started. I was like, wait, it's not scripted. How I started my first leadership role when I was 7, but it was not linear whatsoever for me to become a leader. And now in so many different ways, I can look at myself as a leader and realize that like my life had been training me the whole time to be everything that I am now. And I don't think I shared this with you either, that I'm releasing a book soon. And
no, you didn't.
I didn't.
Why? You're holding back so much from me.
I was like, wait, I'm glad we did the podcast. But in the foreword, I talk about how it didn't take much much to really write the book, because the book had been writing me my whole life. And I share that in my blog, and I share that through poetry and things like that. But literally every single thing happens for a reason. Like now I can sit here at 23 and say, when I was 7, like my failed Bible study, that happened for a reason. Or, moving a lot and having moments where I was like, why did that happen to me? Like, why did I lose that friend? Why did this happen? And realizing now at this point, like hindsight's 2020, and every single part of that made me who I am today. And I could truly say I'm like the best version I've ever been in my life because of the hardships in my childhood and things that I've had to overcome.
That's amazing. And I feel like you're just getting started.
Yeah, I think so.
Like you're like on chapter 3. I can't wait to see your chapter 10.
I'm so excited.
Like as I'm watching you talk, I see like a Miss America.
Oh my gosh. We said that earlier, and we both almost started crying.
I know. Okay, we need to stop crying because I'll start crying again. But she looked like a Miss America. She was shooting at the Code Creatives today, and she came out with her gold gown and her crown and sash, and I was like,
only because of Lisa, who can make anyone look like Miss America. Stop.
Okay, number 3. Destigmatizing pageantry, your mission to redefine beauty, brains, and boldness. I can't wait to get into this one.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you can probably even talk about this so much more. This is literally what we were talking about for like 30 minutes doing my makeup. But like we were joking around saying like 3 out of like 5 days of the week, or like 2 out of 5 days of the week, we're wearing makeup, and then the rest of the time we're really just like ourselves, like working on ourselves.
For me, it's like 1 day a week I'm glam. Today is the day.
Right. I hopped on a call, and this girl was like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. I'm like, girlfriend, I look like an egg the rest of this week. Like, please, no false advertisement. But I just like, I truly love being myself. It's not about the fact that my makeup slays today because of Lisa. It's not, any of that stuff is like not as important as we think. Of course, it's so fun, and it really makes our day to be able to get glam. But what truly matters is what's inside of you. And my platform that I get to share as a title holder is called Reach From Within, and it really capitalizes on like everything that matters. It's what's internal and what's eternal. So whatever is like long lasting. This makeup only lasts me for 24 hours or 12 hours. If anything, it's not as important. But realizing like who you are and why you're so important to the world, and just like the value that you carry and why you are like who you are is so important. And I would just put that over anything else. So once that's first priority, then all the other things are just like extracurricular. It's just like a little like icing on top. And I just feel like that's when you become the whole package.
At what point did you realize it wasn't about the surface and more about what's inside? Was it your faith?
It definitely has to do with my faith and mental health, and just bringing those two things together. I realized a couple years ago that like I didn't just stumble upon Miss America because I was at a concert, that I was chosen for Miss America, that I was called for Miss America. And I could have never picked that out myself, but God really had a bigger plan for me. I mean, a few years ago, I'm gonna cry, but I was so insecure, and like bad friendships, bad relationships, and I really didn't see my self-worth, and I almost gave up so many times. And now I can really see that like my worth, like I literally already came that way. I didn't have to win the crown to find that, or the crown didn't have to validate me, but it was something that was already inside me. So I started digging a lot, especially after the car accident, and after just a few moments that just put me at kind of like flatlining, where I really had to take time for myself. And I just started digging inside. I'm like, there's a lot of good stuff in here. And I encourage other people to do that, because that really was what has changed my life and has made me a more impactful leader, speaker, but just has also made me the best version of Kaysha that I've ever known.
Do you have any advice for people that are like losing themselves and feeling a little insecure? Like what can bring out that confidence?
Yeah, what we were talking about earlier, going back to your roots. Yeah. So sometimes we get caught up in the, oh my gosh, like this girl had a better dress than me, or had a better onstage question than me, or better makeup, better headshots. We get so caught up in that, and we forget the whole point of why we're in it in the first place. It's not for ourselves. This isn't an opportunity to just like bring me fame or bring me glory, but it's an opportunity to create opportunities for other people. And just remembering, why'd you get into it in the first place? So sometimes it's really basic and it's so simple, and we get caught up into the, all the extra stuff, and we forget like, well, I'm actually here because I wanted to put a smile on, children's faces. I'm actually here because I wanted to help someone with their mental health. And just going back to that reason, staying grounded in that, practicing mindfulness, whatever you have to do to really ensure that you're not just here for like a season, but you're here for a reason.
gosh, that's amazing. I love that. And I feel like one of your reasons out of many is bringing representation to
Yes.
Florida, because I feel like Florida is not, represented. I'm going to stop.
Good segue. Yes, and I would definitely be honored to be the first Haitian American Miss Florida, which is so exciting. But I'm also like double minority, of course, like as a Haitian American woman. But then there's also just so many other people who are like me in a lot of different ways, people who are interested in poetry, and they maybe feel weird for that, for being creative. But seeing that representative as Miss Florida and someone who has many quirks, I just would make me so happy to see other people look at me and say, I can see myself in her. And I think that's why I keep going.
I love that. Now I have to ask, what's your talent?
I'm singing, but the song is a surprise.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yes.
I feel like singing is like the one that gets girls to win, right? Like out of all of the talents, there's like the crazy ones, and sometimes
I feel like dancing. I'm like, God, why didn't you make me a dancer?
Really?
Yes.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
but I mean, I'm biased. Like, of course, everyone wants what you can't have. Like, if you're a dancer, you want to be a singer, and vice versa. Yeah.
But you couldn't dance after a car accident. Imagine.
That is true. See, everything happens for a reason. That is so true. I love that. Yeah, and I'm actually right now I'm a worship leader at my church, and that's all the like singing experience that I had. So yeah, I felt like kind of unqualified. Some girls have been doing opera and things like that their whole life, but I'm like, I'm just gonna really be me and see where that goes. And I actually hope to really use that as like, I'm a newer singer, to inspire people to break out of their shell and to use your gifts and talents to the best of your ability, even if it's something that's new to you.
Oh my gosh. So I told you right before we started this interview that you're my first reigning Miss America queen to ever be on Misrepresented. And so that comes with like the only queen that has done talent in a pageant. Because USA, Earth, like Grand, none of them have a talent portion.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
So
what is it like to be judged on talent? Do you feel like it kind of evens out the playing board a little bit? Does it give people more of an edge if they have talent?
Oh my gosh. I think it's really what sets you apart, because everyone has like fitness, like everyone has a great body, everyone has a beautiful dress, but what really sets you apart is like self-expression. And I would say that was definitely my weakest point of competition, like the first couple of years, because I just wasn't confident. So I had to, it wasn't that I needed to do, 20 more vocal lessons. It wasn't that I needed to listen to my track 20 more times. I just needed to find that inner confidence and that inner why. And now I really am sharing not only the message about my faith through my song, which I'm not going to give it away, but I'm also just sharing like just the depth of who I am. I would say I'm a very deep person, and most people probably wouldn't guess that about someone who does pageants or someone who just has like really good Instagram pictures. But I really am deep. I love connecting with people in their soul, and I love to do that through music. And I hope that I get to do that this year, not just at Miss Florida, but at Miss America.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love it. Okay, let's go back on track.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I got like
sidetracked.
I know. Okay, so ChatGPT, Kaysha.
Yes.
What does Miss Florida mean to you? We're doing really good because I feel like we touched on that.
You literally are so good at this.
I'm literally ChatGPT.
You are. Oh my gosh, she's taking over the AI brand.
But there is more, like reach for within 5K, growing your nonprofit, launching your women's retreat and podcast. Okay, let's get into that. Oh my gosh.
I feel like I have so many things that I want to do, and I only have a year to do it. So hopefully the roles will be reversed and you'll be on my podcast in the future about empowering women. And that's just a huge dream of mine. But I'm also later this year hoping to plan a women's retreat for my brand, God is Within Her, to really help people find their inner confidence, their inner why, and to just bring faith and light to their light. And like, we all need a little refresh. So that would be right before Miss America, which would be perfect timing, and right before everyone goes back to school and get into the busyness of work. But in addition to that, I'm also a public speaker for an organization called Minding Your Mind. So I do get to share a lot about my story, and I get to impact people every day. And it's not something that I take lightly. Like, having a platform, people want to listen to me. I walk into a room and like somehow, the mic is put in my hands. Like, I don't see that as a coincidence. So really, as Miss Florida this year, I'm not only just sharing my story, but elevating the story of other people and other causes that I think are so, so important. So I really want to use the crown to the best of my ability to like make this a widespread thing where like everyone's voice is elevated, not just mine.
Tell me more about the retreats, because I'm interested.
Yeah, I'd love for you to come. So I'm thinking of renting out an Airbnb. It would be on closer to like the Panhandle of Florida, or even Clearwater Beach. and just having a girls girl bonding weekend. So like full of community. Myself and a few of my friends were all like worship leaders. So bringing like talent, bringing speakers there, having like a spa night, a movie night, and just really making it a mastermind event so that we can reset our mind, reset our confidence within one another. And I also just found something that's been really important for my mental health is getting grounded and rooted in the right community. And there's studies that show that having the right community or relationships around you can improve mental health. So I'm like, well, I'm going to take that into my own hands and really cultivate a community of high achieving women who want to support each other. And sometimes that feels hard to find through, social media, which is, a community nonetheless. But I really want to create that space for people in our state, and hopefully it'll grow in the future and it can be like a widespread event in America.
That kind of brings me to like the biggest misconception about pageantry, which is like women are like catty and like they bring each other down, and it's literally the opposite, right?
100%.
I feel like the more successful like women are, the more supportive they are of each other because we're like confident.
Yes.
So if we just create more successful women everywhere, we're just gonna have this super empowered community.
Yeah, and it was something that I felt like I couldn't really find as much outside of pageantry. And then I go to orientation or Miss Florida weekend, and I'm literally having the best week of my life with other women who are inspiring me. And I'm like, okay, if I can't just have that in every other area of my life, I'm gonna create that. And being around pageant women has truly inspired me to just sharpen other people and to grow other people, because I wouldn't even say that I got to this point by myself. There were other girls who were helping me backstage at Miss Miami when I was having brain fog. There are other people who have been helping me with my Miss Florida journey, borrowing dresses, switching off dresses, things like that. And it really is such a strong community. If that's the one thing that's keeping someone from competing in a pageant, like literally do it. And you're going to find that it was so wrong, those misconceptions, and you're going to make some of the best friends that you've ever had.
Literally all of my friends are from pageants.
Yes.
And now they're like my clients.
Of course. I love that.
Okay, last talking point, building a legacy beyond the stage. That's a really good one.
Yeah. I think just everything that I was talking about, this is just a launching pad for me and for so many of my clients and people that I talk to, building their confidence. It's to really not put your sustenance and your identity in a title that only lasts a year, because then what are you going to do after that year? If all your identity is in being Miss Florida, Miss America, Miss USA, then does that not mean that you have worth and value and a message after the title? Like, of course it doesn't mean that. So this is really, like I said, a launching pad, a training ground, getting my foot in the door, opening up my networking opportunities so that in the future I can also help other women who have similar goals and backgrounds, just like me, who didn't know where to start, but took a chance on themselves and ended up becoming something great in this world. So afterward, I hope to develop other women and their confidence and launching my own personal brand, and really just using all of this as a part of the story, not my whole story, that where you started in life literally does not determine where you're going. And I have a complete 180 in my life, and I hope to help other people find that 180 and where to turn in their life.
I feel like it's something you're already doing, because right before we got into this podcast, you're on a coaching call.
Yes.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I work for Powerhouse Pageantry, and one of my mentors, greatest friends and coach is Coach Megan, and she has a faith-based brand, podcast, and personal brand. And I was like, I just really want to be her when I grow up. And somehow we just became so close. And I have had the opportunity to mentor people even before winning my own state. And I just think, what an opportunity. Most people, they have to wait until after they get the crown to coach other women and to help them build confidence. And this is just really what I could see myself doing for the rest of my life. Even if I never won another crown, helping women build confidence is, I think it's a huge reason of why I'm in here, and why I was created for a purpose. And just having that call right before this really just hyped me up to encourage you guys too. So I would have to shout out to the last client that gave me that first round before I got to pour into this podcast.
You were doing so good, because when I came back and I was kind of listening a little bit, and you were like, and this is what the judges are looking for, and I was like, wait, she's actually a really good coach.
Thanks, that's so sweet.
Do you have anything you can share with our audience about a coaching tip? If it's your first pageant, what's something they need to know?
Okay, so this is something that's completely special to Coach Kaysha. This is my own personal advice. It's nowhere in my script, but I always tell girls that when you're walking into an interview room, the most important thing thing is positioning, not positioning yourself lower, like, oh my gosh, this title is so much bigger than me, like, please choose me to, you know, show me that I can be great in life. Like, that's not it at all. You're really like eye level with that crown and eye level with the judges, and you're not asking them, am I valuable? Am I good enough for this crown? You are showcasing why you are already valuable. You're not saying, oh, like, if I had this crown, then I would do this. Like, with or without this crown, this is my mission. And if I were you, I would hop on the train and I would join this mission, because this is going to go so much greater than just the state of Florida, so much greater than just the state of than just our country. And it's more than right now. This is really something that's going to propel in the future and, you know, just shake something in the future. So I'm really shifting atmospheres here. And if I were you, like, I would hop on my bandwagon. And then they're like, yes.
That's the best advice I've ever heard. That is so good. Because everyone's like, okay, stay true to yourself, be yourself. But you're like, okay, but show them why.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Okay, so hire her.
Coach Kaysha.
Yes.
I love it.
Is there anything else you want to share with our audience? Because you said that ChatGPT had some weird talking points.
And I think, like, so we did like a this or that, ask ChatGPT this or that, and she's just like so sassy. I'm like, girl, tone it down a little bit.
Oh,
so I feel like I have.
Okay, so we're about to get into that part. Okay, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I feel like we covered so much, and like we need to let them just like marinate in that for a second.
Yeah, definitely. And you can always come back,
right?
Miss Florida and Miss America.
Oh my gosh, let's do it.
Yes. Okay, so which this or that's do you want to do?
You choose. I didn't really fully read them. I just glazed over it. I'm like,
if you answer fast, I can do all of them.
Okay, Slay.
Okay. So they might be kind of weird. Yeah. It's not us, okay? Win the crown or own the room?
Own the room and then in turn win the crown.
Exactly. Red lip or nude slay?
Ooh, I feel like I go back and forth in this, but you did like this little nude thing on me today, and I was like, nude slay.
I love the nude slay.
Nude slay.
Reality TV queen or silent power player?
I'm kind of loving reality TV.
Ooh, okay.
Which, like, yeah,
The
we
Bachelor. I'm think. Oh, I see you on The Bachelor. Okay.
Or the new reality show that I applied for. Which, stay tuned. I'm not going to say it if I don't get onto it. Did I tell you about that?
No, but don't tell us.
Okay, I will. I'll tell you after.
We'll stay tuned. We'll stay tuned. That's crazy. Public clapback or private power move?
Private power move.
Love it,
girl.
Booked and busy or soft life luxury?
I like booked and busy, but make it look like soft like luxury.
Oh, cute. Yeah, same. Yeah. Go viral or stay iconic? What do you mean?
Like, she's like, just like be iconic without having any followers. I don't know. Probably stay iconic.
Love it. Savage comeback or silence? Okay, we have
She's just so sassy today. We're like, what are you on?
All eyes on you or only real ones in your corner?
Ooh, I think only real ones in your corner. It goes back to the community and having a strong community.
Dress to impress or dress to intimidate? That's a good one.
Wow. She's like not here to play, just to impress.
She's in a mood today.
Yeah, she really is.
Secure the bag or secure the legacy?
Secure the legacy, which is going to make you secure the bag.
Yes. Okay, so now here's more. This is the second batch. Run the stage or run the brand?
Ooh, I think run the brand.
I think so too.
100%.
Designer dress or custom crown moment? What? Oh, like a custom dress?
Yeah. Probably custom dress, and like you can make it on a budget too. So
silent grind or loud wins? Both.
Yeah. I'm like, ChatGPT, these are the same thing.
Sorry, I like answered that for you, and I'm like, both.
Yeah.
We work in silence.
Yeah.
Queen energy or boss energy?
Both, but maybe like queen girl boss energy.
Yeah, keep it feminine.
Yeah, keep it very cutesy.
Kill him with kindness or kill him with success?
Kill him with success.
Okay.
Yeah, because success is the best revenge.
I agree. And we've both been bullied at some point.
Yes. And then we're like,
here we are.
Toss sauce.
Yeah.
I love it.
Full glam or barefaced confidence?
I should say full glam, but I'm always a barefaced confidence queen.
Really? Oh my
Unfortunately,
gosh.
like I look like an egg like most of the time. But then once I put that makeup on, it makes a difference. Then people are like, oh shoot. So I want to like keep them on their toes.
It's crazy how people treat you differently, right? Because I'm like, I look bad.
I get like free stuff when I like have makeup on, and then if not, they're like, Total
We're
is
invisible.
1926. Yeah, 100%.
Fashion icon or thought leader?
Ooh, thought leader.
With a good sense of style.
Yes. Like,
Power pose or power quote?
power quote, 100%.
Yeah, and you had a good one.
Yeah, to me all day.
Shut it down or level it up?
Ooh, level it up.
Dominate the spotlight or build your empire?
Build your empire.
And
I
then
like
dominate.
saying, and then dominate the spotlight. Your empire, like your empire full of women who are also going to bring you in the spotlight.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. And that's it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
gosh.
that went by so fast.
I know, it really did. And that's actually more than 30 minutes. So you did amazing.
Perfect.
And
Thank
I love
you so
yapping
much.
with you. Where can our audience follow you on social media?
So follow me at Kaysha Florvil, or hopefully in the future it'll be Miss America Florida. But for now, we'll stick to Kaysha Florvil, KYSHAFLORVIL. And I loved matcha and yap with you.
Oh, I forgot about my matcha.
Yes, you have to cheers.
Cheers. Bye, everyone.